my name is Tori and I'm a Winnie the Pooh collector from the UK. You know what it means when we start a video down here, although I've got Christmas decorations this time. We have got an adventure today. Let me just prop my mirror up properly. So a couple of weeks ago, Pooh Corner Hartfield posted that they were doing an after hours ticketed event. Next year is Winnie Pooh's 100th anniversary and they are going to be, they've got some new pieces for their museum in, especially for the 100th anniversary. They've said it's some of the rarest pieces of Winnie the Pooh history, which I'm very excited for. I saw the post come up on my Facebook. The first person I talked to about it was my manager at work, because today should be a work day for me, so I literally just messaged her straight away and said, there's a Winnie the Pooh event on Wednesday the 3rd of December. Can I have the day off? Everyone at work knows I love Winnie the Pooh, so I was like, I'm telling her, you know, the full reason, and I didn't hear back from her for like 5 minutes, but it's because she was messaging other people to see who could cover me. And then she replied back, yeah, that's fine, so-and-so can cover you. And I was like, cool, book the tickets. And I booked 2 tickets. Me and my dad are going because Mum's at work and Salah's at work. So me and dad are going. I am so excited. I've got so much to do before we go. We're gonna leave, the event doesn't start till like 7, but we're gonna leave at about, I think the plan is to leave at 3. Just so because it takes about 2 hours to get down there anyway, plus we have to do like the London ring roads to get there. By the time we hit like London, you're going to be getting near to like leave off time, and you know, just better be safe than sorry. So going to get ready. I've got on this jumper that caused us a lot of hassle on my last London trip. I thought, because it's to do with Winnie the Pooh history, I thought I wanted to go more on like the classic Pooh side. I've got classic Pooh jumper, whereas going with my rabbit bow, and now my battery is flashing, so I'm going to do my hair. I need to pop to the range quickly to get something for an entirely different thing, but then I'll do my makeup when I come back, and I need to charge my camera. Okay, I've got back from the range, I've finished getting ready. They didn't actually have anything I needed in the range, so I've ordered it on Amazon, but again, as I said, that's an entirely different story that you will learn in another video. But I've got home, I've got ready. I was going to do more like glittery glamorous makeup, but I couldn't be bothered in the end, so I've just done simple makeup, changed it into some Pooh danglies, got my rabbit bow on, and then I'll just show you the rest of my outfit. So, outfit, jumper is the Disney Store one I got for my birthday with like the classic characters on there, because that's obviously the kind of the vibe I want to go with. I haven't got a classic Pooh lounge fly because I haven't made one yet, so this was like the one that I thought went best with the outfit. I had a few different options, but this is like always my go-to. I just really love this one. Then just with some shorts, pink tights, cowgirl boots, rabbit bow we've already gone through. Yeah, that's my outfit.
For me to hand over to Neil, who's going to tell you about these wonderful artifacts he's acquired.
Thank you. The things we have on display are the elements we have collected over the last year. So the way Pooh Corner works is that Sam and myself don't take any money out of the business. Everything Pooh Corner makes goes into paying the employees. It goes into restoration of the building that was in very poor state when we took it over in 2019, and it actually then goes into the artifacts that we can acquire for the museum to further educate and develop the knowledge base around AA Mill. You know, it's one of those things where what that allows us to do is to reach people worldwide. We now have social media coverage thanks to some amazing people that is really enormous, and it's huge, and we punch well above our weight in a very strange digital world that I don't understand anymore. But what it does do, it allows us to, we went from a stage in 2019 of having to find things and go out, but the world now comes to us and we get these phone calls saying, I've found this, are you interested before I sell it? And actually it puts a load of pressure on us because we don't always have the money, but we always try to do our best to obtain these things and really put it in a place where people can come, and we're not the centre of this, the forest is. It's then once they've experienced the forest, they come to the bridge, and then from the bridge they then come down to us and we feed them and educate and enjoy the process. So ultimately, the things you're seeing tonight and things that we're about to unveil, in the far corner is actually the only other, it'll be the only copy that is in public viewing in the world of the newspaper article that will be 100 years old on the 24th of December 2025. So essentially we've had, you'll find on Christmas Eve, you'll find Giles Brandreth talking about it on the One Show. We've had the New York Times, the LA Times, we've had every Times, including the London one, wanting to do pieces on it. We've had radio, we've had all sorts of people want to just see that one piece. That's a holy grail piece that, strangely enough, we got a phone call from a gentleman in Nottingham, and it was in his grandparents' collection when they passed away, and he just wanted to give it to somebody that would do something with it. We had no idea at the time when we collected it in April that it would have such a worldwide news story. So for us, it's been quite an amazing thing. But tonight is about showcasing that, so you can see it as close as you'll ever get a chance to see it. We've also got a lovely letter, and this takes us back 100 years again, that's A.A. Milne writing to E.H. Shepard saying he's seen the first 2 pictures from Winnie the Pooh and how excited he was. So all the items we put together are really trying to take you back to that time and explain, you know, what it was like for these guys. They were creating something that we'll never understand. Or we probably won't see again in a strange kind of way. It really was a unique thing. We have over in this corner, we've got the merry-go-round. Now the historical fascination with this is A.A. Milne was pressured into delivering a poem for this children's magazine, and it was that sparked his interest in children's material. So actually this piece here, without them putting the pressure on the man, none of this may have happened. So it's funny that it took one little item, and we've only ever seen it once for sale. We grabbed it. It's not the best copy in the world, but we're really proud to have it. So as you go around, I'll be here, and I'm happy to talk a bit in the museum or here. There's lots of exciting things that we're putting on display. We've even we picked up this week a beautiful record that is Winnie the Pooh songs or Chris Robin songs sung by Gene Kelly. We didn't even know this. So it's amazing that we've been able to put all this together and allow people to see it. The next problem we've got is we've run out of space. So that's one of the things that we'll be looking at for the future. As Robin talked about his 100-year legacy, ours is what can we do now to develop the museum to make sure the education goes further and we make it more exciting for the future. So what I'm actually going to do as well, though, just to set this up, about 4 years ago, this stunning, 5-6 years ago, this stunning bald man behind me walked up to me. He said, "I absolutely love what you're doing. I want to work with you." So for the last couple of years, we've been developing when we can. Ben is actually a military historian. He's working with the MOD in Gibraltar to work on the history there. He's also been supporting charities like Waterloo Uncovered to take injured soldiers and take them to the Waterloo sites and get them to find artifacts and deal with their things. He's just published a book called The Broken Soldiers, which is about these kind of things. He himself has toured in Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I got them in the right order, didn't I?
You did, actually.
Yeah. That's good. That's why I stuck to the orange juice for now.
That's a lie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And actually, all he's going to do is just give you a couple of minutes. As soon as he's done, the canapes are going to come flying, and we'll top up your glasses, and we'll unveil these things. But it's very, very exciting for us to have you here. So A, thank you, and B, Ben, over to you.
So what do we know about Milne? So if you go back to 1913, 1914, we're a peaceful nation. Not much going on. If you're fans of Blackadder Goes Forth, you're going to know some bloke called Archie shot an ostrich in 1914 in Sarajevo. No. So World War I erupts on August 4th, 1914. Milne is a massive pacifist. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Oddly enough, 2 days after the war breaks out, he writes to the Admiralty asking for a position. He's refused because of his age. Because he's 32, if I remember rightly. So he has to wait, well, in August till the February, where in the London Gazette he's commissioned into the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. That's that one, right? Yeah. Oddly enough, it's a strange regiment for a person who lives in London to be commissioned into. It's all because the editor's son was the adjutant of that regiment. So he's given the commission in that regiment. Because no other bugger wanted him. So he takes the opportunity, he jumps at it, he goes. So off he goes, and the first place he goes is the Isle of Wight, you know, overseas. Well done.
Pretty criminal.
Yeah, no. It's like my service. I always say to people, I had the worst travel agent going when I joined that. He got to the Isle of Wight, so fair play to him. So he, because he's a mathematician, as we all know, he takes a great interest in signals. Now, strangely enough, I mix signals myself, okay, and it used to bore me. So fair play to him for taking it up. So he's got a life, he's loving every minute of it. So unfortunately, I think it was July 1916, so we all know what happens on the 1st of July 1916 in the Somme, the big offensive, the worst day of British military history. 60,000 soldiers have lost their lives literally in one morning. He goes home after being on leave. There's a message from the commanding officer of his regiment saying, guess what, you're going overseas, you've got to make up numbers. You're replacements and you're one of them. So unfortunately, if you've served and you've been in that situation and you've been told you've got to go overseas, it's quite gut-wrenching, I won't lie. It happened to me in 2003. My unit was one of the first units into Iraq. And I didn't know I was going to Iraq until I got a phone call, Boxing Day, it was very nice of them, telling me, pack his bucket and spade and your sandals because you're off to the desert in a month's time. I was like, wonderful. So I can kind of understand what Wim was probably feeling at the time. So he goes overseas, he comes friend with a very young lad on his way over, same regiment. They go to the 11th Battalion, the Royal Warwickshire Regiment, which was, I'm going to get this on right, bear with me, 112th Brigade or the 37th Division. So he's off to the Somme. He's gone to the Somme. He's there, he's replacements. He gets there on the, I think it was the 12th of July, 1916. So you can probably imagine a lot of people are still feeling the pressure from the big offensive. Within 72 hours of arriving, he is sent to the front, where the young gentleman he came friends with on the way over on the voyage was blown up in front of him by an incoming shell. So this has a lasting impact on him. Within a space of 3 to 4 weeks, he is sent over the top countless times. Even though he's a signals officer, first things first, you have to bear in mind when you join the military, especially the army, you're a soldier first, then a tradesman. And when you're on the forefront of it all, believe me, all that training goes out the window. And he got on with it. But it really, really affected him. Because one assault he did over the top, 5 officers went over, 3 were killed, 2 severely wounded. He was one of the ones that got severely wounded. He came back. He managed to recuperate. Anyway, goes on. Now, we're moving now later past the August period into September. Now, I won't go into great detail about how rotation used to work in the trenches in World War I. There's a great belief that soldiers used to spend 4 years in the front line, off you go. No, you'll be lucky if they did 1 week over 3 or 4 month period, and they were withdrawn back into different lines and stuff. So he goes back, and not mysteriously, he starts to become very ill, a bit like COVID, I suppose. He's got trench fever. This is from the lices they had in their uniforms because they weren't washing them, so they did poor hygiene. Now, one of the interesting things is when soldiers used to gather around together over a candle and burn the lices out of their uniform, it came known as what we call today chatting to each other, and that's where the expression comes from. Okay, so he's got his trench fever. He thinks he's fine. Typical, great officer. He's got a temperature. He wakes up one morning. His temperature is 103 degrees. So he's really feeling it, and he's got a walk. I think it was about 200 meters. I think it was. To him, it felt like he was walking up Mount Everest. He literally goes back to the officer's mess that evening, or that afternoon. He falls asleep in front of a fire. He wakes up. His temperature is now 105. Right, so straight away, big urgency to get him out of theatre, well, out of the war zone. So before he leaves, and this is what, mid-October, end of October, 27th I think it was, of October 1916, his sergeant comes up to him from the signals platoon, which he was overseeing, and says to him, "Sir, can I have all the maps and logs and stuff, because I'm taking over your position?" He said, "Yep, sure, there you go, take it all." Anyway, he gets what we call CASI back, medical evacuation back to the UK. Next he learns, his signals platoon were all wiped out apart from the sergeant, who was lucky because he lost a leg. So he's back in the UK now, Neil, and he's trench fever. I never really knew much about trench fever until I met Neil, because he gave it to me. And we looked into it, didn't we, one day? And it was absolutely, it threw me completely. So to suffer with that, and it's lasting for life. It's a lifetime illness. It doesn't go away. It's always there, it's always eating away at you. Now,
Are you suggesting that's what I've been like in your life?
Yeah. That's what I'm bought, by the way. So he's back in the UK. He's now because he's a pacifist. Now, before going any further, one thing I forgot to mention: at the outbreak of war, when he joins the army, he is probably the worst officer you'll probably ever read about. He did not want to be a soldier, and we were saying earlier, he's get the guys to check their weapons, and he actually said, "I have no idea what I'm doing, but it looks good." You know, to me, perfect. You know. He said he fired 12 shots practice shots in the Rangers on the Isle of Wight, missed the gunnery officer every single time, but put more hits on the Isle of Wight than anyone else. Fair play to him. So anyway, so he's back in the UK. He's then hoping for a medical discharge from the army. This is now February 1917. He's gone through different hospitals, gone to the Isle of Wight, he's been to Weymouth, all over the place, because he's going through his recovery. And he said actually, whilst in hospital, it's probably the best time of his life. He gets up in the morning, has breakfast, he's reading, he's playing games, jigsaws, you name it, he's doing it. So he's gone back to his childhood in a way. So, and he's writing as well, he's writing plays. So, 1917, medical board, February. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't discharged. He was recruited into Ministry of Intelligence, number 7, branch B, which is propaganda. Which, in Milne's famous words, the word propaganda is a horrible word. It's a nasty word. Doesn't believe in it. Because it's a way of winning the public over for us to win the war, which he wants to tell the truth. So he sees the war out in that, along with other famous authors. Pharmacist, November 1918, he's hoping for a discharge. He had to wait another year. He was angry by this point. He really wanted out of the military, but they wanted to keep him. So he's now stumping around with a very upset mind, I suppose. Anyway, he's now suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. So when I started doing the research, I had a real big connection with this guy, and I can understand his logic, his thinking, the way he is. Because he's living in London, and he constantly, big bangs and all that, he couldn't be around anything that made a noise. It really affected him. It does affect you. You want peace, you want quiet. So he moves out of London. As we all know, he comes to Hartfield. Knowing that Milne family was here, I've been a local boy myself, I had a great connection with it all. And then when I met Neil and Sam, we got talking, and I said, look, just let me deal with this. So I went away, did Neil, Alan, then discovered Christopher Robin, military past. I've gone to E.H. Shepherd's military past, and I could go for hours, but I'm not going to because I'm bored.
And it's stuff that we're now starting to develop in a lot more detail for the future, including potentially next year going on some of the routes that Christopher did in World War II and filming it and putting it onto YouTube content. So there's a lot of bits and pieces. So, sorry, go on.
So Milne's, when he's here in Hartfield, because we all know he's writing his plays, and I said to you earlier, I said, one of the things I didn't realise until recently, until this afternoon actually, because there's more research into this, A.A. Milne, until the day he dies, he's angry about Winnie the Pooh, because that's what made him. He wanted to be a playwright, but no one took that seriously. So, a funny little yellow bear, like Neil.
I've been joining so many lives. So.
That's what made him, and that's what made us as Hartfield and National Forest.
So it is 11:30 at night. We are back home and I just thought we'd have a little bit of a debrief while I get ready for bed. So it was a really really lovely evening. We got to see the new pieces that are going to go on display in 2026. The newspaper articles are actually going to be featured on the One show on Christmas Eve, so that's quite exciting. And then so that letter was from 1995. There was also a letter from A.A. Milne to E.H. Shepherd about the first time he'd seen the pictures of Winnie the Pooh. And then there was also some like first copies of photographs and a few other like article bits. And then we also had talks from the head of the Ashdown Forest committee. We had talks from Neil, the owner of Pooh Corner, and I can't remember his name, but I did catch it in the video. A man that works closely with Neil. I think he said he's a military historian. He has served in the army, but now he's interested in like military history, and he obviously did a bit about A.A. Milne and Christopher Robin served in the army in the World Wars, and so he did a little talk about that. And he said him and Neil are working on something together in the future to do with Christopher Robin's time in the war, which I was very interested in. So I think I did cover most of it in the video. I show you all of the new pieces. I think I got most of their talks. I did, in a minute, I'll just go through the haul of what I got, because the gift shop was open. I was last there a month ago, and there was a few more bits that I needed to grab. The other couple of things I just kind of wanted to talk about with you, because it was such a like pinch me moment. Like, I don't think I fully realised like what the effects of my little corner of the internet does. Like, to me, I'm just sat here in my bedroom talking about my love of Winnie the Pooh, and it turns out I'm more like known in the Winnie the Pooh world than I know. Neil, the owner, knew I was coming. The girl that does their social medias saw my name on the ticket list and told him I'm coming. They're all more than aware of what I do on social media for them, and how all my TikToks, like my most recent TikTok of Pooh Corner, is currently sat at well over 500,000 views. They all know about that. Yeah, so I had a long lovely chat with Neil. I had chats with like most people, because I think I did catch it in the video, at the beginning of Neil's speech, he mentioned the work of people on social media, and he literally gestured over to me because I was the only social media person there. And so many people came over to talk to me because of that, and people were asking me about my work on social media. The lady that runs the Instagram page for, sorry, I'm trying to plait my hair and talk at the same time. The lady that runs the Instagram page for the Ashdown Forest Foundation, which is obviously the charity that protects the forest, she asked if she could take a picture of me in front of the newspaper article, which is obviously like the main thing they're unveiling, because turns out I was the longest travelled person to go there. Most of the people there were locals on the committee of the forest, or people in like not too far area. It was about 2-hour drive for me. I got home, I texted my husband at 9:15 that I was leaving, and I literally came home at 11:15, so 2 hours exactly. I was the most travelled person, so she wanted to take my picture. She put it on social media that I was the most travelled Winnie the Pooh fan. The chat I had with Neil was probably the biggest pinch me moment. He said the girls there are always keeping him up to date on like my figures on social media, of like how well my videos are doing on Pooh Corner, and the amount of attraction that my videos are then getting for them, which I just found absolutely crazy. He said that I can't, all of the stuff we talked about, I can't say. There's some events coming up that he wants to invite me down to. I can't say much about them because he told me he shouldn't even been telling me, so I shouldn't tell you. So I can't go any more on that. Something which I find very exciting that he wants to work with me on, probably in the new year now at this point. Probably shouldn't tell you on that either, but that was when he offered me that was a huge pinch me moment. There was something else he said to me that I don't really think I can tell you until that happens. I'm just a girl that just sits here in my bedroom talking about my love of Winnie the Pooh, and it's got me this far that I'm talking to... Neil is like pretty much world famous with his work in Pooh Corner, and that they know about me and that they want to then work with me. This is absolutely crazy. I need my little mirror to take my eye makeup off. If I'd have known I was going to be having my photos taken for other people's social medias, I would have done that full glam makeup that I talked about. What you'd have also noticed in the vlog, we went to the Bear Inn beforehand because the event didn't start till 7:30 and we got there at 5:30. We allowed time for like leave off traffic for people like coming out of London. It wasn't too bad, so we had a lot of time to spare, so we went to the Bear Inn, which is a pub in Hartfield, literally just like down the road from Pooh Corner. First ever time we'd been there, we had portion of chips and Coke Zeros just to waste time. And obviously with Hartfield being a big part of Winnie the Pooh history, they had quite a lot of Winnie the Pooh dotted about the pub. It was quite funny walking into the toilets and seeing Winnie the Pooh wallpaper in the toilets of a pub. That was straight up my street. But yeah, let me just take off the rest of my makeup and then I'll show you what I got and then I'm gonna go to bed. I wasn't expecting to buy anything because I didn't realise like the gift shop was going to be open, but they'd done some rearranging and some work in the museum, so to get to the museum you have to go through the gift shop, so the gift shop was naturally open for you to get to the museum. And I had some stuff slip in my basket. Right, the first thing I got, you know I love my 90s noughties beanies. They had a few on the shelves, a few that I already had, and a few that I didn't have, but I limited myself. This was the first guy that caught my eye and he's just so cute. He's in like a little sleepy outfit. It's got Pooh embroidered on the top there. He's got his little sleep hat on. He was $7.99. You can kind of just see his original tag underneath there. I'm going to try and peel off that price sticker. But his little tush tag does say Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So he's crossed the pond. So that was the first thing I got. Actually, the last thing I picked up, I'll show you next because it kind of like goes on from this one. You know how in my 90s noughties collection I have those plushies of Pooh inside something? I've got Pooh inside a football, Pooh inside a birthday cake, Pooh inside a strawberry, Pooh inside a watermelon, and Pooh inside a lemon for pancake day. It's not zipped up so I can't give you the full effect, but we've got a little star with Pooh on the outside with some stars and moon, and then you unzip it but it's already unzipped and you've got Sleepy Pooh Bear inside. I just realised the two plush I got are kind of on the same theme as Sleepy. But how cute is he? I love this shade of purple that it's in. And it's still got its Disney Store tag on, and he was $7.99 as well. I love these plushies. And then the last thing I got, they had a little Christmas card section with personalised names on. And the one at the top of the pile said Vicky. I don't like the name Vicky. I don't like going by the name Vicky. I've never gone by the name Vicky. I don't like people calling me that. My nickname is Tori. Full name Victoria. There's never Tori on anything. So when I saw it said Vicky, I was like, I'll flick through and see if there's a Victoria. And there was. So it's just a little Christmas card that says Victoria on it. So it's at the top it says, do snowflakes taste as good as they look? Merry Christmas, Victoria. And I didn't buy a Christmas card for myself. My intentions of it is I'm going to get a little like frame for it and just have it as just like a little Christmas decoration. Just use it as like a little personalised print.
Hello everyone again.
And that is everything I got. I was quite well controlled. Since I didn't expect to be spending anything, I was well behaved. Let me just put these all back in my bag. Anyway, that is all for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. It was very fascinating for me. And just Winnie the Pooh history is just right up my street, so I hope you did enjoy it and you learned a little something from it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do pop the thumbs up button, and if you'd like to see more from moi, do click subscribe down below, and while you're down there don't forget to ding the notification button, you might as well. You're already down there, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye!
Tori.